Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome to the Phillies Padres Talking Friars pregame show for May 18th, 2022. I'm Ben Fadden, your host. Breaking news that just came down from the Padres. The Padres are reinstating Blake Snell for tonight's start, and they are optioning Ray Kerr down to AAA El Paso. Not really surprising when you look at the bullpen. You have Nick Martinez available tonight. You have Nabil Crismatt also available tonight. You also have Craig Stammen available tonight. So that's not very surprising, but just wanted to give that news right off the top. So that bullpen chart that I just put out on the Twitter and Instagram story it's not fully accurate. It's accurate, the pitch counts, but Kerr's name shouldn't be on there anymore. But that's the news that we got right out of the gate here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, whether that's live or on replay. I hope you hit that subscribe button for daily Padres content. Episode 164 with Heath Bell is out now. Episode 165, talking about the Juan Soto trade discussions, is also out. I just put that one out with my reaction from earlier today. Of the Buster-only report of the San Diego Padres maybe being suitors for Juan Soto if the Nationals decide to put him out into the trade market if they can't get a extension done. So those are the last couple episodes that I've done. As for today's game, first pitch at 3:45, just like yesterday. Valley Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. Both teams are in second place in their respective divisions entering today. Padres are a game back of the Dodgers. The Dodgers won both games yesterday. The Phillies are 6 games back of the Mets in the National League East. Padres enter today 23-13, 10 games over 500, and the Phillies are 17-19. It looks like Bryce Harper is not back, so that's another bullet that is dodged by the Padres. They did not have to face him yesterday, and it doesn't look like they're going to have to face him today. He had that PRP injection. He can't throw, so he's dealing with that UCL issue. Still can swing, but doesn't seem like they're interested in rushing him back. So that's the good news for the Padres, is that they don't have to face the reigning MVP tonight, that Blake Snell doesn't. But yeah, yesterday, I'll talk about this obviously on the reaction episode of the series. But yesterday was a good win for the Padres. Pretty much a great win if you think about it. I know the offense didn't score like 10 runs, but Robinson Cano contributed. Will Myers contributed with some good base running. Austin Nola contributed with the grounder, just putting the ball in play. Good fundamental baseball by the Padres. There were good defensive plays for Mike Clevenger early in the game. And then with Mackenzie Gore, 3 innings shut out of the bullpen. Really, really good there. Taylor Rogers, obviously, I think his 14th save on the year, if I remember correctly. 1 inning, no runs, gave up a hit, but struck out 1 as well. Just a good overall game. Yeah, was it boring at some times? Probably. But I'd rather have a boring win than an entertaining loss, because it's all about the wins. That's all that matters at the end of the day. So moving on to today's game, 10 games over the 500, the Padres send Blake Snell to the mound to face off against Zach Wheeler. This seems like it would be a pretty good matchup, and it's definitely a must-watch matchup for, obviously, Padre fans like me. But Zach Wheeler has not been the same guy so far this year that he was last year. He has a 4.26 ERA. He isn't giving up the home run much, the long ball, but he has had a couple 3-walk starts and has not struck out more than 7 guys this season. So that fastball, I think he throws a 2-seam fastball. That fastball isn't really it doesn't seem as it's as effective as it was last year. Maybe guys are catching on to that. Obviously, guys, the velocity doesn't really scare major league hitters anymore. Because that's what they face. They're used to it. And then on Blake Snell, that side of things, first big league start this season, obviously he dealt with that adductor issue and hurt it right before he was about to take the mound to face the Diamondbacks in the first weekend of the season. He struggled a little bit in spring training. His last spring training start was 4 innings, gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits. Looked like he was going to go into the game there, make that start on that Sunday. That the Padres ended up winning that game and taking 3 out of 4 against the Diamondbacks. That was when Profar hit a grand slam. I believe that was the game there. Alfaro, I think, homered. They blew him out, even with Chris Matt pitching those 3 innings. But he was supposed to start then, but he obviously got hurt, and he's been rehabbing since. I think he had a longer rehab start than Clev did, but in Snell's last rehab start last Tuesday for El Paso, he went 5 innings, gave up 1 run, 3 hits, and the big encouragement for Ree was not walking anyone. I know that was his longest rehab start that he's made so far this year, so it feels like it's going to be a Nick Martinez piggyback situation, just like how last night was a Clev Gore piggyback situation. Because the most you're going in a rehab start is 5 innings, you're facing major league hitters now, so you're probably not going to be as great as you were against AAA guys. So that 4 to 5 inning range is probably what you're going to see out of Snell, and then you have Martinez go 3 or 4 innings after that, and you just see where you're at. Obviously, that's the ideal thing. Snell could go less than that. Obviously, you just hope that doesn't happen. But the no walks, I know it's AAA hitters in his last rehab start, but that's encouraging because last year, remember the big worry about him was all of the nibbling that he was doing, right? That led to his lack of success, for me at least, when he wasn't having success. The last month before he got hurt, he was doing really, really well. He was attacking the zone. He was taking no hitters into the 7th inning or whatever, I think that one game against the Angels. But when he wasn't having success initially at the first half of the year, first 3 quarters of the year, most of the time, it was more nibbling. He was having success early at bats, getting ahead of hitters, but he didn't want to allow that contact, it seemed like. He was really just trying to be perfect around that strike zone, when all he really needed to do was just throw it over the plate. Now, I know he's susceptible sometimes to giving up the long ball, but I'd rather you throw it over the plate than walk guys. So hopefully that no walk trend, or at least lack of walks, can continue tonight for Blake Snell. And then obviously Zach Wheeler, like I mentioned, on the Philadelphia side of things. As for the bullpen situation, I'll share the bullpen chart with you right now. Ray Kerr has been sent down, so obviously that's not this bullpen chart I put out a half hour ago, I think. Isn't totally up to date. I was about to say Curry, I think. The Warriors play tonight. I must have had that on my mind. Ray Kerr should not be in there. You can exit that guy out of this bullpen chart. Roger should be available. Gore, obviously not. But everyone else is good to go. That's one of the positives of yesterday's game, right? You had Mackenzie Gore pitch, and he went 3 innings. You only had to use Rogers for 12 pitches in that 9th inning. So you really didn't use the bullpen at all. And so you're ready for today, and you're ready for tomorrow as well. And then you should be good to go, in that San Francisco series. You have Musgrove starting probably the first game of that series. So the bullpen set up that day off days ago, and then essentially not even having to pitch yesterday. As for both teams' lineups, Padres, Jake Cronenworth leading off, Ha-Seong Kim at shortstop hitting second, Manny hitting third at third base, Eric Hosmer at first base batting cleanup, Luke DHing batting fifth. For Robinson Cano was in there last night. Will Myers batting sixth, playing right field. Jurickson Profar is hitting seventh, dropped down even more from last night, playing left field. Jorge Alfaro in there for Austin Nola, catching, batting eighth, and then Grisham batting ninth, playing center. I'd probably expect Grisham to be batting ninth most of the time until he gets out of this funk. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim's hitting pretty well, good at bats. And then Manny and Haas obviously are going to be hitting 3-4. Jake Cronenworth's pretty much the only leadoff option right now. I think they like having that leadoff lefty when there's a righty on the mound. Voit, maybe you see something where Cano gets more at bats than Voit. I know Voit had that 2-home run game last Wednesday, but let's say Voit struggles tonight and Cano, they give him a pinch hit at bat and he does well. Do you start him tomorrow night? You could see that chain reaction or that just quick reaction of let's go with the hot DH, and that's who they end up going with. So that's the Padres lineup. My what to watch fors in terms of that Padres lineup tonight, maybe not as much situational greatness, if that's a term, in the Padres lineup with Alfaro up there and no Nola, and then no Cano, right? Voit swinging for the fences, and Alfaro isn't really the contact hitter that Nola is, or at least situationally. I don't know if he would have grounded out to second in that situation last night that produced the Padres' first run. So that's kind of my what to watch for. Situationally, do they not do as well tonight offensively as they did last night? Then for the Phillies lineup, no Harper. Hoskins leading off, a little different from yesterday, if I remember correctly. Realmuto moves up from like 7th to 5th. Schwarber, not a good night defensively last night, and he's not in the outfield tonight. He's DHing. So Hoskins leading off, Alec Boehm hitting second at third, Nick Castellanos, Segura hitting cleadoff. Did I just say, what's cleadoff? Clean up. JT Realmuto hitting fifth, playing catcher. Kyle Schwarber hitting sixth. Yohan Camargo, the former Brave, hitting seventh, playing shortstop. Odubel Herrera hitting eighth, playing left field. And Roman Quinn, who tried to stupidly bunt on Manny Machado last night. Great decision by him. Thanks for the out. He is batting ninth, playing center field for the Philadelphia Phillies tonight. So it should be a pretty interesting pitching matchup. Again, I'll get to all you guys' comments and questions. Don't worry. Just getting through my pregame show portion of this. What to watch for is for tonight, other than the situational stuff from the Padres lineup. Harper not playing, so let's see how they attack the lineup like they did last night. And then Martinez making that relief appearance. It seems like that's what's going to happen. They send down Ray Kerr to activate Snell. You can have a lefty start in Snell, and you have a righty in Martinez come in after him. And I don't know if they want to use Chris Matt right now. Martinez hasn't pitched in forever, it seems like, and Chris Matt just pitched on Sunday. So the likely scenario, it seems like, is they do the same plan as yesterday, and they have two starters do that piggyback, and then hopefully you have, if you have to, you use two relievers, and you have Rogers come in and close it. Obviously, you want that happens with the lead. My Padre pick yesterday was Manny. He went 1 for 4, so I improved my record this year in my pregame show pick to 22-10. 12 games over 500 in that mark. And then today I'm going to go Eric Hosmer. He's batting fourth, so he's going to get some at-bats near the middle of that lineup. And off of Zach Wheeler, he's hitting, 273 and 11 at-bats. So pretty good off of him. Right on left matchup. Wheeler not doing as great as he was last year, so we'll see how that goes. Let's get to some MLB news and notes before I get to your comments, your questions, anyone in the chat. If you have any, put them in there now. NL West stuff, the Giants lead the Rockies right now 3-2 in the 8th. The Dodgers, after winning both games against the Diamondbacks yesterday in their doubleheader, are losing in the 4th to Arizona 2-1 right now. And that's the only NL West action because the division opponents are playing each other. As for other action, maybe notable action, St. Louis plays the Mets. Houston and Boston, that's always a good matchup there. They've had a lot of playoff matchups against one another. There's not a whole lot else in terms of headlines today, except the Buster Only report about Juan Soto. The Nationals might be, wanting to trade Juan Soto if they don't get an extension done before the deadline this year, so that they can get a lot back for him. And the Blue Jays and the Padres were listed in that article as two possible suitors. So again, episode 165, that Juan Soto reaction, I just recorded that. That is out right now on this YouTube channel, on Spotify. I don't know if it's on Apple Podcasts. When I tweeted it out, it isn't yet. I don't know why. Usually when it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts. I'm just checking right now. Let's see here. Okay, it's out on Apple Podcasts. It's just 25 minutes. There's a part at the end where you can skip, like a 2-minute part because my internet sucked when I was recording that part. But pretty much my big points, the whole episode, it's good. The audio is good for any podcast listeners. All right. Before we get out of here, before we watch Blake Snell and his Padres 2022 regular season debut, let's get to some comments here. Gil says, Sergio Alcantara for Juan Soto. Maybe, but I'd have to seriously ponder it. Yeah. I don't know. Sergio Alcantara's, man, he's like Ted Williams. He's really, really good. Gil and I are obviously being sarcastic. No. Alcantara, I'm surprised he's even still on the roster, to be honest. It's going to take like Abrams, Gore, Hassel. I talked a lot about that in the episode, so I encourage you to go listen and watch that before the Padre game, which you still got like an hour and a half to do. Eric Hosmer's just better. I would accept Juan Soto trade if we give Alcantara, Grisham, and a prospect that we won't need. The maybe Abrams. I don't know what maybe Abrams you'd give up. Okay, I'm not giving up Abrams, one. Alcantara, why would they want Alcantara? He was just DFA'd by wasn't he just DFA'd by the Diamondbacks? You're giving up Juan Soto, a top 3 hitter in the game. You don't want Alcantara back for him. Same with Grisham. You want top prospects and major league ready like Mackenzie Gores. Yeah, that doesn't make sense there. Sorry, Eric Hosmer's just better. Come up with a just better trade proposal. With all due respect. Kwan says, I predict Snell will go 4 innings, give up 2 runs with a no decision. I think 4 innings is a safe bet. I like that. And then maybe Martinez goes 3 or 4, and then you use 2 or 3 relievers tonight. That's a formula for success, pitching path to victory, if you want to call it that. Irie says, at this point, we should put Myers in the leadoff spot until we get an actual leadoff guy. Does Myers profile as a leadoff guy? I don't think so. Cronenworth, I think, would be better than him. I mean, if you want a leadoff guy, what, Profar? Do you put Profar there because he fouls off a lot of pitches? You put Nola there when he's playing? And they've tried that already, or they've done it. So maybe they do that. You're not going to find a leadoff guy until Tatis comes back, like a true, really good leadoff guy. Kwan says, Padres have kind of been lucky with the schedule, not having to face some key pitching or star players hurt like Acuna and Harper. Yeah, Acuna, excuse me. I understand that point with Acuna and Harper, but they have, I see what you're saying with the Pirates, the Reds, the Guardians, Marlins, Cubs, but they face some good pitchers in that stretch of games. They did. I know Marcus Stroman was hurt with the Cubs, but like with the Marlins, those were 3 good pitchers that they had to face there. Jesus Luzardo pitched well, young good pitcher, was that top big guy in that Starling Marte deal last year that sent Marte from the Marlins to the A's. They faced some pretty good guys still. Young pitchers, Trevor Rogers pitched well. They faced some good competition. Facing Wheeler tonight. I know he's not the same this year, but he was one of the best pitchers in baseball last year, so maybe he turns that on again tonight. Obviously, you hope that doesn't happen, but I don't really agree with your point that they've been facing like really, really trash pitching. Gian, is that how you say your name? We need Padres to catch up with the Dodgers in first place. I don't like the Dodgers, Astros, Yankees, Mets, Angels, Giants, Cardinals, Tigers. Okay, that's a lot of random teams, but all right. All right, I think that's a little Captain Obvious about catching up with the Dodgers in first place. Yeah, of course they do. That's their goal. In the regular season, your goal is to win the division. I know the division doesn't win you a World Series, but it guarantees you a spot in the playoffs. It guarantees you with this new playoff format. It guarantees you a spot hosting in the playoffs. So, yeah, that's their goal. Eric Hosmer's just better says Myers and a top prospect for Soto? No. If the Nationals are rebuilding, they're not taking on Myers' contract, I don't think. And to be honest, it's not going to be a top prospect. Go listen to the episode and watch the episode that I just did, my reaction to the Juan Soto stuff. I tell you what it's probably going to take. John, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm here for all your pregames, he says. Just subscribe today. Love the insight. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love doing this because, one, it keeps me in tune with the team and what's happening before the game. And then it's just daily Padres talk with you guys live, right? Some of the episodes I do are recorded because it's a weird time, or I just feel like recording it, just get it done. But yeah, I like doing these pregame shows with the bullpen charts, the lineups, just previewing the game and talking ball with you guys. With that said, this will do it. This has been the Padres Phillies Talking for Hours pregame show for May 18th, 2022. I'm Ben Fadden, your host. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the post-game reaction after the game. Again, the Heath Bell interview is up. The Juan Soto reaction, Padres rumors thing is up. And I hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel for daily Padres content if you have not already. All right, everyone. Enjoy the game. See ya.